All right, everyone. So this is the third part of Thursday, June the 11th videos. I have sent you quite a few documents this week, I guess, and there's one more that we'll go over now in this part. This is another expanded casual conversation, looking at how we can say more in order to involve ourselves more in gathering information, getting to know people. So let's look at this conversation and see how that's done here. The setting for this one is an office picnic. So many work groups, whether it's work departments or entire companies, will often have summer picnics where families get together and get to know each other. Or, you know, a couple of you have husbands in school working on advanced degrees. Oftentimes you'll find events held in those settings or for people in those settings as well. So these are opportunities where you are with folks who have something in common. And that gives you a starting place, doesn't it? It's kind of easier sometimes if you have one thing in common, at least, to then develop conversation and friendships from there. All right, so this is a little more in depth because it involves more people. We have Frederick. Frederick has a new job working for a software engineering company, LRT, in Nashville, Tennessee. His department is holding a summer picnic for families. Elisabetta, his wife, and their children ages 6 and 9 attend the picnic. They have just moved to America from Germany. They enjoy a conversation with Marla and Mike, Frederick's co-worker and her husband, while at the picnic. Okay, so we have Frederick and Elisabetta and their two children, Hans and Irene, and they've just moved from Germany. And Frederick works for LRT, and they are having a conversation with Marla, who works with Frederick, and her husband, Mike. So lots of people here. All right, let's read through and I'll stop and discuss as we go. Frederick speaking. Oh, hi Marla. How are you this evening? Marla. Hey Frederick, I'm great. This must be your family. I've heard so much about each of you. Frederick. Yes, this is my wife, Elisabetta, and our children, Hans and Irene. Hans is 9 and Irene is 6. They are excited about their first picnic in America. Marla. Great, y'all will have fun. The food is always great, and there's a fantastic playground just over there. Elisabetta, I hear a lot about you from Frederick at work. It's great to finally put a face with a name. And your kids are darling. All right. Stepping aside for a second, putting a face with a name is quite a common expression. And it's a nice way of saying, I'm really glad to get to know you. Okay, now I have this connection. I see you, and I know what I've heard about you already. She's saying at work from your husband. This is great. All right, continuing. Elisabetta. Thank you. It's good to meet you too. Frederick tells me that you have helped him very much with his new job. Marla. Oh, that's nice. Frederick is great. He hardly needs my help at all. We are learning greatly from him. It's super having him in the company. Mike. Now remember, Mike is not with the company. He's Marla's husband. Well, I don't work at LRT, of course, but Marla has certainly bragged on her new co-worker. Frederick, you have made quite a favorable impression. Frederick responds, thank you. I trust that will continue. Elisabetta, I can say that Frederick is enjoying his work at LRT very much. I'm glad that he is so happy. Now, she's saying that almost in what we call a pointed way. I'm glad that he is so happy. If I'm listening carefully as an American, I might get the hint that, oh, he's happy, but I'm not so sure. She seems like she might not be. So Marla speaks up here. Marla says, what about you, Elisabetta? How do you like living in the United States? Elisabetta, thank you for asking. I am enjoying things here. It's different from Germany in so many ways, mostly because we lived in a very small town. I do miss my friends, and I think I will be lonely when the children begin school in August. But things are very good for us. All right, you might recognize yourself a little bit in Elisabetta. We were trying to be very positive, but feeling a little bit homesick, a little bit uncertain. Frederick jumps into the conversation again. Yeah, our town in Germany had only had about 12,000 people. We knew lots of them, and we went to the same places day after day. Now everything is new. There are so many choices of stores and restaurants, so many people, so many parks. And we don't really know many people yet. Mike joins in. Well, this picnic is a great place to start. There are a number of families here already, and more on the way. You'll find that many live in your general area, so they may have children who will attend the same school where Hans and Irene will go. Frederick, great, we will try to make acquaintances. Marla, remember, this is America, and people are usually very open, especially in situations like this, where there's a work community. Don't be shy. Is there anything your family especially enjoys? I might be able to hook you up with another family that you'd have something in common with. All right, just an aside, hooking up can have various, what we say, connotations, various meanings. And there is a connotation of hooking up that is not particularly good and that we don't particularly want to be associated with, okay? But among friends, among people you work with, when you are talking about connecting people to one another or to resources, then the idea of hooking someone up is appropriate, completely appropriate, and you will hear that expression used very often in this way. All right, Elisabetta is responding to that offer to get hooked up with some families. That would be nice. Well, we do love to go camping, or even just to parks for day hikes or picnics. Also, the kids play soccer. We will register them soon for the fall season. So this is good. Elizabeth is giving information about her family and helping this American couple, Mike and Marla, to then be able to maybe find some people who have something in common. We do have to share, don't we, about ourselves in order to make those connections. Mike speaks next. Perfect. I think Marla and I know just who to introduce you to. The Stevens, Jack and Susie, live in Meadow Park neighborhood. Susie works at LPR, but you probably haven't interacted with her much, Frederick. She is in accounting there. Jack is an engineer with the Public Works Department. Marla, in agreement with her husband. Yes, Susie and Jack are wonderful people. Their kids are in upper elementary school. They have a camper and go camping quite often, even for quick weekend trips. They know all the nearby parks, as well as tons of others farther away. Oops, I almost made the mistake. I almost said further instead of farther, which is what is typed there. Remember when we talked about those two confusing words? And we said farther always has to do with distance, okay? Parks that are farther away. Elizabetta comments now. I will look forward to meeting them. We need recommendations of places to go because the many choices become confusing. We also need to learn about renting camping equipment since we couldn't bring ours to America, of course. All right, once again, Elizabetta is giving information to let Mike and Marla know what would be helpful. Mike responds, I see the Stevens over there. Let's head that way. After I introduce you to them, I'll make sure I connect you to a couple of soccer families. Soccer is huge here. Trust me, by the end of the evening, you'll have a slew of new friends. All right, slew is probably a word that you haven't heard before. It means a great number of, okay? So if you have a slew of friends, then you are very blessed, right? All right. So in this casual conversation, you hear well-spoken German couple because, of course, we know that they are very well studied in English, and we can tell by what they're saying here. And yet their English is a little more formal. They're being very careful in their pronunciations and so forth. And then you see Mike and Marla, who are relaxed. They're happy to be at the picnic. They're very comfortable in the setting. They're comfortable in the job, and they know a lot of people. So they are very open and warm to this new family. We see the give and take in this conversation. We see that responses are coming sometimes when directly looked for. In other words, when someone is named and they respond directly. And sometimes we see the others interjecting, even if they haven't been the one directly addressed. Again, that's what conversation is, right? It's a free-flowing thing, and the more comfortable we become with it, the more free-flowing it becomes. we see people centering their conversation around very practical ideas. That's the way we get started. It's not typical that our first conversations with people have to do with very personal kinds of thoughts and ideas and concepts. That comes later, right? As we get to know one another, we can go deeper. But these are somewhat surface conversations. They're finding out the information that's needed in the moment, or that is obvious. In this case, being at a picnic, you automatically have subjects such as great food and, look around you, lots of people, a fun playground. These things are easy, and we refer to them in these conversations because it gives us all something to talk about. This is not just a situation that newcomers encounter, whether you're from another country or culture, or whether you're new to an area, having just moved there from another part of the U.S. Anytime you're new with people, the conversation is going to center around the obvious, and then friendships develop as they might from there. All right. The information that was requested and then responded with, it really makes this a productive conversation, because Elisabetta and Frederick really entered in, shared about themselves a little bit, what their previous lives were like, and the things that they are interested in and want to do. Then this becomes very interactive. So I hope that it is a helpful conversation. It's a little confusing, the more voices that we bring in, right? But this is very likely a conversation that might be one that you would encounter even possibly this summer, if people actually end up being able to have picnics or play on the soccer fields or wherever it might be. This is a type of conversation that I hope you will allow yourself to become involved in. And you may be surprised at the more open that you can feel, the more risk that you take in conversation, the broader your acquaintances and opportunities will become. So I wish that for each of you. And now I'm going to sign off. I wish you a good week, and I wish our country a good week, a calm week, and I will look forward to, I think, probably 1 or 2 more lessons, and then we'll see what happens. I hope to have information for you soon, or I hope you receive information directly from CPACs very soon. I really don't know much at all about what's coming. I wish I did. All right, everyone. Miss you all very much. Take care. We'll talk soon.